Hey cats, it's EDDBUD here. At the start of 2023, I made a predictions video where I made some educated guesses about various running related matters. I got the old crystal shoe out and tried to look into the future. I made some predictions about Eliud Kipchoge running Boston and possibly New York, whether the VAPORFLY NEXT % 3 would be a particularly successful shoe. I also thought Nike would probably release a plus 40mm rule-breaking max midsole shoe, and I also made a prediction on my marathon race time. So let's see how all of those panned out. Thanks for tuning in, people. If you haven't done so yet, help us to reach 1 million subscribers by hitting that subscribe button and giving this video a thumbs up like. Dankeschön. So I made a load of predictions at the start of 2023. I'm going to check them out now and see how accurate I was. And just a heads up, I'm not particularly accurate. So prediction 1 was that Eliud Kipchoge would actually undertake the Boston Marathon, win it, and possibly do New York as well. Yeah, that one hasn't really panned out that well. He did, of course, take part in Boston, but he didn't manage to capture the crown on the day. Didn't even make the podium, actually, this time round, though he still ran strong. You have to say that the weather conditions weren't particularly fair to him. Very misty early on with some rain a little bit later. It's not stuff that Kipchoge likes. I remember him running in some rainy conditions here in London a few years back, and that was one of those days where it just didn't work out for him. I mean, it was still a super time, but Boston is a tougher course. You know, some people did predict that he wouldn't perhaps find it as easy as he thought. I think he was finding it okay till sort of the halfway point, and then he began to falter and drift away a little bit. Very few people ever mentioned Boston as being a very easy course. I think you look at the elevation profile and you think, well, there's not a huge amount of gain there. But the major issue there's lots of downhills, and that can take a real toll on the top of your legs. So I was wrong about Kipchoge winning in Boston. He still has 4 of those marathon majors. Both Boston and New York are still eluding Kipchoge. Maybe he'll have another bite of the cherry in the future, who knows? There's no word on Kipchoge at the New York Marathon yet. I believe that one's in November. I have a feeling though that with recent results involving Kiptum, with that insane display in London this year, an amazing time, quite frankly stunning second half to that marathon as well from Kiptum. I wouldn't bet against these two matching up against each other in Berlin next year. I don't think we've heard the last from the master yet. He'll still be there to prove that he can perhaps chop off a few more seconds, get closer to that sub 2 hour. So first prediction, no dice. Prediction 2, so the VAPORFLY NEXT % 3, I predicted that there wouldn't be a huge uptake on this one as previous models. And I think I'm right on this one. You can pretty much pick up a pair in any size really right now if you wanted them. I think in this world of tough economic times right now, people are being a little bit savvy with their money. Lots of people buying the VAPORFLY NEXT % 2, which is heavily discounted on the net. Nike seemingly uncharitable here, not allowing you to use any discounts on that VAPORFLY 3, and those looking to get the best value for money are adopting the previous shoe. I have come to enjoy the VAPORFLY NEXT % 3 a little bit more than when I first took it out of the box. I've ran a couple of half marathons there, 1:33 and 1:34. Cushion and grip are fine. I'm just finding that perhaps it's not as propulsive. You don't have the same magic there that you had in the first couple of versions. The same really has to be said for the Alphafly 1 and 2 as well. The second version just feels a little bit muted. Doesn't have that wild magic of the original. It's the old second album syndrome all over again. I think there's so many great options now in terms of super shoes. A lot of the other competitors have caught up a little bit in terms of the midsole foam. So I don't think it's a given that the VAPORFLY NEXT % 3 is the absolute best out there right now. It's certainly up there, but I don't think it has that same gap between the top and the sort of second and third places as there used to be. Hoka, Asics, Saucony, Puma and Adidas have all got some fantastic models. Those shoes seem to produce the same sort of functionality and features as we found in the VAPORFLY and only the VAPORFLY before. And some of those are a much lower price as well, so it's saving you a few Earth credits, and that's always a good thing. So I do think I've been successful on this prediction. I've got one right, one in the bag. The VAPORFLY NEXT % 3 is a very expensive shoe, it has to be remembered, and people just being more cash savvy right now. Before we get to prediction 3, do help the channel out perhaps with a super thanks or picking up some merch. It helps the shoes to continue rolling in so I can get some more reviews out for you. Danke schön. So prediction 3, I'm really amazed about this one actually, that Nike have not released a plus 40mm sort of midsole rule breaking shoe as of yet. I mean, you got the Tempo Next percent, but that was out years ago. My prediction was that they would release a new model with a sort of more maximally cushioned midsole in 2023. It doesn't look like we're going to get that. Maybe like a max version of the Invincible, so just adding on like another 10mm of foam or something. I mean, all they've got to do is stick like a plastic Pebax plate in there to provide a little bit of stability. I think until that time happens, we've got to contend with like the Prime X from Adidas, or that SC Trainer 1 and 2 as well from New Balance, although I think New Balance have actually pulled the stack back a little bit on the version 2, so clearly they're not all in on that sort of rule breaking stack. The thing that I found strange at the moment, there's lots of Nike shoes that all seem to have the same sort of features, they all fit into the same sort of bracket. There's like the Vomero 16, the Pegasus, the Invincible Run, the Infinity Run. They're still doing the structure as well after all these years. It's kind of the same shoe as before. I guess at least with the Infinity Run they are going to be altering up that midsole material with that React X formula. It seems though at the moment they're just concentrating on milking that cash cow that is the VAPORFLY Next percent and the Alphafly as well. They've left the daily trainers just sort of grow a bit old, I suppose. They need to innovate a little bit there. Why we can't have a shoe that's got this softer React and then maybe some pods of Zoom X, like I'm talking virgin Zoom X, not this crushed up stuff. I think that'd be a really great responsive shoe. So basically, you know, just give us the Pegasus Turbo back, but slightly more durable. It does seem strange Nike have got the Nike Air or the Air Max. Why not do a Zoom X Max? You know, just bump up the midsole height a little bit. So my prediction for this one was off actually. There's no plus 40mm Nike Max cushioned rule breaking shoe set to release in 2023. Not to my knowledge anyway. So I'm like 1 out of 3 so far. It's not particularly good. I got one more prediction though. So the last one from my predictions video was about my Brighton Marathon race time. I think I went for 3 hours 15. I think I was going a little bit there on the positive side, you know, glass is half full. I obviously didn't quite make the distance, got to 18.5 miles, had to pull out, and where I overextended my hip a little bit by standing in a pothole. After talking to a few people around Brighton, they've said that there are loads of potholes around, so yeah, it was probably going to happen with me because, you know, I can't really see what's going on down here on the floor. It's a long way down. Fortunately, the injury wasn't too bad and it cleared up within a few days actually, but you never really know, do you? If you've done like some major damage, the adrenaline's flowing, you've got to try and sort of calm down and make a sort of educated judgment about what to do. I mean, I could have tried to talk myself into continuing and done, you know, the rest of the 7 or 8 miles or something, but I don't think that's a particularly good idea. So I would have come in running at the pace I was, which was 7:43 per mile on the day, around about 3 hours 22. So I mean, I wouldn't have been hugely far off my prediction, like 6-7 minutes or something. So I wasn't massively far away, but I don't think I can really say I've got this prediction nailed. So it's 3-1 sadly. I did learn lots from that event though, certainly in terms of preparation and build up. I got way too cold before the start of the race, so I have raided some of the very nearby charity shops here for some fleeces. They were like a couple of quid or something that I can wear and then toss away just before the start of the race. Also, the bag drop really messed with my head. I had to queue up for like 15-20 minutes and they kept moving the queues around. It was just a real pain, and it turned out that I really didn't need any of the stuff that I had in my bag anyway at the end of the race. So yeah, lessons learnt for next time, I suppose. I'm not sure what my next marathon will be. I'm going to have a look around, perhaps see what I can do, perhaps, you know, towards the start of next year. At the moment, marathon training isn't something that I can really fit in terms of work schedule and family commitments. Half marathon kind of training is just that little bit easier to get in during the week. So I will have another bite out the marathon cherry very soon. So overall predictions are a little bit of a mixed bag in terms of accuracy. I am going to do a new set of predictions for the remaining part of 2023 in a video for you next week. I don't think we've heard the last from Kipchoge by any means, and There's always other marathons to run. Yeah, the Vaporfly 3, it was always going to be a bit of a hard sell because it's kind of the same shoe, really. As I said, I think it's really odd that Nike, who have the Air Max, haven't done a Zoom X Max. It just seems to fit perfectly. What do you make of my predictions for 2023? What are your running predictions for 2023? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. Musical interlude time. I've been watching loads of the Glastonbury coverage. It's kind of a shame, really, because it's literally just a few miles down the road or whatever, but it's nice to sort of sit and watch the really great coverage with really good sound these days on the BBC iPlayer from home, you know, with a nice cold beverage. There's been some super stuff. Real highlights for me, I guess, was Rick Astley performing with Blossoms, doing a whole set of Smith's material. It's kind of weird when you think about it, but it sounded great. It was really good fun. Rick Astley not really taking things too seriously. There's a lot of these bands these days that are just overly serious and kind of, it loses the fun and the whole making a racket kind of vibe. I really did enjoy the set from the Pretenders too. They had special guest, the master Johnny Marr, this time playing a really beautiful Les Paul, some fantastic guitar sounds on that set. Do go and check it out. Chrissie Hynde looking absolutely amazing as well. We did check up, I think she's like 71. It's just absolutely mind-blowing. Her voice sounds so good. Go and check it out on the BBC iPlayer right now, guys, from Glastonbury 2023. All that's left for me to say is thanks for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up like. It really does help out to spread the word. My name's EDDBUD and I'll be seeing you